Welcome to another episode of 666 Seconds of Murder. That means each episode is less than 666 seconds. And you guys know that means it's less than 11 minutes and 6 seconds. And we got to get started because we got a lot of ground to cover. Talking again about the Idaho 4 case. I know you guys are super interested in this one, and so am I. And this guy just seems to keep coming up in conversation, mainly here on my channel with a lot of you commenters. So I figured, why not talk about old Inan Harsh? He's the odd neighbor who some still want to believe may have been behind these gruesome crimes on King Road. We know that this video is for entertainment purposes only. These are my opinions, pure speculation, not insinuating anyone's guilt here. I'm just voicing my opinion. So who is Inan Harsh? Inan Harsh is a 30-year-old chef who lived in an apartment complex that was very close to 1122 King Road. He claimed to have heard a scream in the early morning hours when the crimes occurred, and he goes by the nickname Chef Dizzy, which is a little goofy, comes off that way when you see him in some of these interviews. Now, he says he got home from his job in Pullman at 1:30 that morning and was dozing off when he believes that he heard a scream coming from the direction of the house at 1122 King Road at approximately 4 a.m. But he did say he was groggy and kind of sleepy, so he's not 100% sure. But he didn't think much of it at the time, he says, because it's a party house, probably a lot of parties going on in the neighborhood outside of, that house as well. So he didn't think much of it. But some may find it odd that he didn't mention that scream when the police were going around talking to neighbors after this happened. It was brought up during an interview he did later on with the media. He was interviewed by a few different people on YouTube. He posted his own videos on TikTok, and he wrote extensively about this on social media. So some say he acts like kind of a narcissist, maybe enjoyed that spotlight for a little while, but probably not for too terribly long. At least I wouldn't think so. He would tell interviewers that he heard the screams, all the time coming from that neighborhood because there was all these parties going on at all hours of the day and night. So he says that's why he didn't mention it to the cops when they talked to him. Little suspicious, but could have been just what he said. He just didn't think much of it. He does come off a bit weird in the interviews that he's given. The one that I saw on Hidden True Crime, he does seem a little strange, but, we all know people that are strange in our lives. I don't know why people have considered him such a serious subject, to be honest with you. Quite a few of the commenters, as I've mentioned on my channel, have brought this guy up. So I thought, why not do a video about it? Because I didn't know a whole lot about him. Now, he did write an extensive piece on this subject on a Reddit post that you can read for yourself if you Google it. Grizzly True Crime did an episode on it, and she discusses the Reddit post and reads through the whole thing. It's very involved. The post is very, very long, but it explains his life and some things about him that he wanted to share. Sounds like he's had a very troubled life, and that may be why some have, seriously considered him as a person that could have done this. I've also heard people mention that since he was a chef and good with knives, that he could have done the crimes. So does that mean we have to reel in all the chefs and cooks of the world and put them in a photo lineup to see which ones have bushy eyebrows? I mean, that's a little bit of a stretch for me. He's a guy with a unique personality. He likes hobbies that some might consider weird. He juggles fire. He laughs a little strangely in one of the interviews when the interviewer asks him if he was the person that carried out the crimes. But having a strange laugh doesn't necessarily make you guilty of anything. In my personal opinion, the guy seems pretty harmless to me, but due to his proximity to the crime and the fact that he didn't tell police about that scream, I can see why some people maybe, have him on their list of people that they're not quite sure about. I'm just not sure. Now, Harsh Reality did an episode just recently on Inan Harsh, and despite their same last name, no relation, according to Harsh, he said that Enan had gone public with his thoughts on the guilt of Brian Kohberger, apparently, as the attacker. So he's weighing in and he's saying it's Brian. So who knows? I think there are plenty of suspicious people in this Idaho 4 saga that we don't need another one. I feel this guy's gotten a little bit of a bad rap. Maybe he was just having a bit of fun with his 15 minutes of celebrity, but I'm sure he probably regretted it with all that backlash and harassment he got online. I'm assuming he doesn't live in that apartment still, but I really don't know. I didn't see anything about where he was living, and I probably wouldn't pass that along. He doesn't need any more harassment. The problem with a story like Idaho 4 is with this case, particularly with Inan Harsh, is that it discourages people from coming forward. People don't want to have their lives put under a microscope like this, and it doesn't encourage them to come forward with information when it comes to crimes committed. So it sucks that the public at large treat people this way, and in a way I feel bad for the guy. I mean, honestly, I do. But people should come forward when they know something about a crime and not have to feel like they're going to be under a microscope. So I don't know. What are your thoughts? Am I off base with this guy? Or do you think that maybe he had something to do with it? I don't know. But it is an interesting story, another character in the long list of characters with the Idaho 4 story. So comment below. Let me know what your thoughts are. Always love to hear from you guys. I appreciate your support of this channel, and we'll see you next time.